taste your grain. I know you prefer other company, but you've got to do me a favor and take her out tonight." Jack looked at the 50, then toward the door where Karen was waiting, then back at the 50. His mind raced. $50. That was a week's groceries. That was a night out. More importantly, it was enough money to do something very specific, something he had been desperate to do since yesterday. Earlier that week, Jack had discovered Jana crying in her bedroom. She had confessed that she had pawned a beautiful, antique cameo necklace, a family heirloom given to her by her grandmother just so they could make rent 3 months ago. The pawn ticket was expiring tomorrow, and she didn't have the money to get it back. She was heartbroken. Jack had sworn to himself he would find a way to get it back for her birthday. He had been racking his brain, considering taking a dangerous loan or selling his beloved set of professional chef's knives. And now, here was Stanley Roper, literally handing him the exact amount he needed. $50. Jack repeated, the gears turning in his head. "Yeah," Stanley said eagerly, "and I'll lend you my car. I mean, anything to get Mrs. Roper off my back. She's driving me crazy. Will you do it, please?" Jack took a deep breath. He hated to let Jana down on her birthday. He knew Chrissy and Jana had spent all day preparing. But if he did this, if he took Karen out for a quick drink, he could slip away, go to the pawn shop before it closed, and bring the cameo back as the ultimate birthday surprise. They would forgive him instantly. "Oh, yes," Jack said, slipping the 50 into his pocket. "Great." Stanley clapped him on the shoulder, nearly knocking him into a washing machine. "Let's go." They emerged from the laundry room. Karen was leaning against the wall, examining her fingernails. "Uncle Stanley and Aunt Helen have been very nice," Karen was saying to Jana and Chrissy, who were hovering at the top of the stairs. "Only, I think my uncle must have had an accident or something." "Oh?" Jana asked. "Yeah. He can't seem to remember anything that's happened since the war." Stanley coughed loudly. "Karen, I think Jack here wants to ask you something." Karen turned, her blue eyes locking onto Jack. She looked him up and down, a slow, appreciative smile spreading across her face. "Oh, he can ask me anything." Jack swallowed hard. "Yeah, Karen, how would you like me to show you the town tonight?" "Oh, I'd love it," Karen purred, stepping toward him and linking her arm through his. "Let's go." "See ya." Jack called up the stairs, avoiding Jeanette's gaze. "Wait a minute," Jeanette cried, hurrying down a few steps. "What about the party?" Jack winced. "Just take the dinner out of the stove in 20 minutes. "Well, I'll be back in time for the party," Jack promised, already being pulled toward the front door by Karen. "Bye-bye." Don't be late, Chrissy called out weakly. As the door closed behind them, Jana stood on the stairs, staring at the empty hallway. Her shoulders slumped. I mean, Jack's really a nice person, Chrissy said softly, trying to fill the silence. Jeanette's jaw tightened. Nice fink. Back in the apartment, Jana walked over to the kitchen counter where Jack had left his favorite, slightly battered chef's hat. She picked it up. Cheers, Chrissy said, holding up a glass of tap water. Cheers, Jana replied flatly. She took the chef's hat and deliberately, forcefully, threw it onto the floor, stomping on it once for good measure. Chrissy winced. That isn't a nice thing to do to Jack's hat. You're right, Jana said, her voice dripping with venom. I should have waited till his head was in it. Chrissy sighed, sitting down at the table next to the Jimmy cake. I don't understand. He said he'd be back in time. Something must have happened to him. Someone happened to him, Jana corrected her. Someone with big blue eyes and big. Well, you know. Okay, Chrissy said, holding up her hands. You know, Jana, there was something about that Karen that I didn't like. She is a very beautiful girl, Jana said bitterly. That was it, Chrissy agreed. Do you think Jack noticed? Noticed. Chrissy, he notices anything female. I think his head is built on a swivel. He's probably halfway to Hollywood with her by now. Chrissy looked thoughtful. You know what the trouble is. We're jealous. Jealous? Jana practically shrieked. Of Jack. I'm not jealous. I'm mad. I am furious that he stood us up on my birthday. No, we don't own him. Jana. Remember, he's just a third of the rent. Yeah, Jana muttered. And a great cook, Chrissy added. Yeah, and a watchdog. Then he should be here watching me blow out my candle, Jana said, her voice catching slightly. She sat down next to Chrissy, pulling the cake box closer. Chrissy, do you dig him? Chrissy blinked. He's okay. Oh, no. I mean, if he wasn't living here, would you? Would I what? You know, Jana nudged her. Jack, yeah. Would you? Chrissy giggled nervously. I asked you first. Would you? No, Jana said, a little too quickly. Oh, not unless he asked me to. Jana amended softly. Chrissy nodded sagely. Well, you know me, Jana. I just hate to be rude. Jana managed a small smile. You're right anyway. We don't own him. He's got his own life to lead. And let's just cut that cake and let's hope his leg heals very quickly. His leg? Yeah, Jana said, picking up the butter knife. The one I'm gonna break when he gets home. Chapter 4, The Freeway Fiasco. Stanley, will you stop that pacing and come to bed? Helen Roper sat up in bed, Watching her husband wear a